I found a Durex condom in my husband's pocket, a brand we had never used. I had to face the truth. My husband was cheating on me in my late pregnancy. Grace, I'm sorry. I've just been really busy with work lately. I scoffed. He actually thought I was still in the dark. Since he wanted to play it that way, he shouldn't blame me for being ruthless. I was going to make him leave with nothing. The child was mine. And so was the money. The baby in my belly suddenly kicked me forcefully. I clutched my stomach and looked again at the Durex in my hand. I had found it in my husband's pants pocket, a brand we had never used. I had to accept a fact. My husband, Michael, was cheating on me. I was now 8 months pregnant, so intimacy was impossible. He was also on long-term business trips away from home, often only coming back once a month. He had taken off these pants 3 days ago when he returned. He must have been rushing to catch a flight and forgotten to take them with him. Cupping my belly, I slowly sat on the sofa. Tears blurred my vision, and I was desperate to know who that woman was. He had been in Phoenix for almost the entire year. I composed myself and called my Ethan. Ethan was the main project manager at the construction site, and in a strict sense, Michael's superior. I hoped he could give me some useful information. The call was answered in 3 seconds. Grace, what made you call me? I hear you're an expectant mother now. Let me know as soon as the baby is born, and I'll prepare a generous gift for you. I sniffled and asked directly, Ethan, does Michael know any women at work? Well, Ethan's stammering further confirmed Michael's infidelity. Grace, don't overthink things. Focus on your pregnancy for now. We can talk after the baby is born. Finally, at my insistence, Ethan relented. Michael has been getting close to the plant manager's daughter lately. They often come and go from the company together, but he shouldn't have done anything inappropriate. Looking at the Durex on the coffee table, I let out a scoff. I bet he's done plenty more inappropriate things. Hasn't he? I asked Ethan for the woman's WhatsApp contact. On impulse, I sent a friend request, and to my surprise, she accepted it instantly. Opening her social media feed, I scrolled through post after post, content only a young girl deeply in love would share. Always stay a child at heart. The accompanying photo showed her and Michael holding hands at an amusement park. Such a high floor. Good thing he's with me, or my fear of heights would have gotten the best of me. The accompanying photo showed a bustling night view outside a 5-star hotel. Her latest social media post, from 3 days ago, featured 13 YSL lipsticks. I just casually mentioned I liked them, and he bought them all outright. Thinking back to my relationship with Michael, the most expensive lipstick he ever bought me was a MAC on sale for $99. Yet, for YSL lipsticks costing nearly $300 each, he could buy 13 without batting an eye. Michael and I met in college. He was our class president, and we started dating in our junior year. I was different from his previous girlfriends. I once asked him, "Why do you want to be with me?" He held my hand then and gently said, "Because is gentle, kind, understanding, and considerate, perfect to be my wife." My roommate warned me, "He doesn't love you. He just wants to find someone to marry," but was accomplished and handsome, and I was still drawn to him. He was gentle and thoughtful during our time together, and I believed I would be happy marrying him. These 3 years of marriage had been truly happy for me, except for the fact that he was rarely intimate with me. Michael would always say, "I'm sorry, honey, work is too demanding, and I've neglected you." I would always smile and tell him, "It's okay, work is important." But now I realized how foolish I was. If a man truly loved you, how could he not even be intimate with you? My phone suddenly chimed. The woman had actually sent me a message. "Hello, my name is Chloe." She even added a cute cat emoji after the message. I didn't know if it was my imagination, but I felt that emoji held a subtle hint of provocation. I ignored her and continued scrolling through her social media feed. I actually found a chat history between her and Michael. The date was May 20th. And Michael had sent her $1,314. "Always love you, honey," Chloe replied, dissatisfied. "What? Is our love only worth $1,000? Next, Michael actually sent 3 separate transfers of $5,200. I couldn't help but scoff aloud. How did he spend May 20th with me this year? That day, he had just come home. After dinner, he took me for a stroll in the park. We ran into a girl selling flowers on the street, and he bought me a single rose. "Wife, I've caused you hardship over the years, but don't worry, I'll work hard to earn money and buy a big house for you and our child in the future." At the time, I stroked my belly, gazed into his intense eyes, and dreamed of a future with him. Thinking about it now, I felt like a fool. Chloe must have been very young. After starting her relationship with Michael, she constantly flaunted their affection on her social media feed. I even uncovered the date they officially became a couple from her posted photos, January of last year. At that time, I was 3 months pregnant. The doctor said intimacy would be possible after 3 months. But Michael, claiming he was being considerate of me, never once asked. I thought he was thoughtful, thinking of me and our daughter. But now I knew he had already had someone on the side. Next week, he was even going to the multiplex cinema with that woman. Husband, are you coming home next week? I suppressed my anger and sent a message to Michael. No, honey, I'm very busy lately. A big boss is overseeing the project at the construction site, so I can't easily take time off. Ha, busy? Busy dating another woman. Unbelievable. I was completely disillusioned with Michael. At 1 a.m, I couldn't sleep at all, so I drove to my best friend Sophia's place. I couldn't hold back. Tears streamed down my face. What? That jerk Michael actually dared to cheat? Grace, divorce him. Whoever wants that scumbag can have him. We can't put up with this disrespect. Once the baby is born, I'll be her godmother, and we'll raise her together. Sophia ranted and raved, giving voice to my feelings and calming my emotions significantly. A wave of warmth washed over me. Yes, divorce. Not only will I divorce him, but I'll make him leave with nothing. After we got married, Michael and I lived with his parents. It was only after I became pregnant that he suggested we move out. His exact words were, Grace, Mom has a difficult temperament, and I'm afraid she'll affect your mood. It's more convenient for us two to live separately. At the time, I naively thought he was being considerate, but now that I think about it, if he truly cared about me, why didn't he move out right after we got married? Why only suggest it after I got pregnant? Haha, he just wanted me to be a free housekeeper for his family. I mopped the floors, cooked the meals, and did the laundry. When I became pregnant and needed care, he immediately made me move out on my own. I diligently cared for them, but they never treated me like family. Sophia was efficient and decisive. After confirming my resolve to divorce, she immediately connected me with a lawyer. Are you sure you want to divorce now? Yes, I am, I answered with absolute certainty. The lawyer, however, looked a bit troubled. Well, now might not be the best time. What do you mean? My heart sank. I felt sick staying with Michael for even one more second. I wanted to cut ties and have nothing more to do with him. If I didn't divorce now, I couldn't imagine how utterly miserable I would be during this time. MS. Grace. Mr. Michael's marital infidelity is a serious transgression, but the court requires evidence. If you file for divorce now, the chances of him leaving with nothing are very low. Upon hearing this, the heavy weight in my heart finally lifted. So, that was it. With the lawyer's explanation, I calmed down in the following days and quickly began collecting evidence of Michael's marital infidelity. Chloe's social media feed was a great help. I saved everything related to Michael from her posts. But this was far from enough. I needed to think of other ways to find more evidence. I turned my thoughts to hiring a private investigator, but I quickly realized a problem. I didn't have enough money. At 9 p.m, Michael called me. I asked him to turn on his camera. The first thing I noticed was a pink hello on the sofa behind Michael. I pretended not to see it and, suppressing my disgust, asked him, Husband, can you really not come back next week? I have a prenatal checkup, and my due date is getting closer. It's not convenient for me alone right now. I feigned vulnerability, but my eyes remained fixed on Michael. I caught a flicker of impatience in his gaze, but he quickly masked his irritation. Honey, the construction site is really busy. My heart had grown completely cold. I had anticipated his reply. The reason I still asked him was to stir his guilt. Husband, I've been feeling weak lately and want to buy some supplements. No problem. Honey, I'll transfer the money to you in a bit. $30,000 were transferred to my card just like that. In the past, Michael would delay even when I needed $2,000 for living expenses. If I hadn't known the truth about this $30,000, I would have been moved to tears, believing how good he was to me and our child. So, if a man suddenly starts being overly kind to you, there's always a reason behind it. Okay, husband, get some sleep then. Oh, that doll behind you is so cute. Who bought it for you? I intentionally tried to nauseate Michael. Sure enough, his face changed. but he quickly returned to normal. It's for our daughter. Oh, okay. His guilt was becoming harder to conceal, but I wasn't in the mood to dig for details. I took the $30,000 Michael gave me and hired a private investigator specifically to follow Michael and Chloe. On night, the baby in my belly was exceptionally active, kicking me constantly. My heart also grew restless and uneasy. I had a bad feeling something was going to happen. Thinking about it, today was the day Michael was out with that woman behind my back. They must be completely lost in fun at the multiplex cinema. Don't worry, baby. Even if you don't have a father, you have me. Mommy will never let you suffer any injustice. I comforted my baby while closing my eyes, preparing to sleep. But then I suddenly remembered that the tablet at home seemed to be able to connect to Michael's phone's cloud. I immediately got up and used the tablet to sync Michael's phone's photo album. I had bought that tablet 3 years ago. I rummaged through everything and finally found it. The house was a mess, but I didn't care about the mess. I decided to clean it up tomorrow. Right now, I just wanted to know what my husband of 5 years had been doing behind my back. The window wasn't fully closed. A gust of wind blew through, and the curtains rustled. Click, it was the sound of a key turning in the lock. Wife, are you asleep? Wait, was that Michael? My hand shook, and the tablet fell to the floor with a thud. Michael was back? I quickly picked up the tablet, and just as I was about to hide it, I looked up and met Michael's gaze. It was over. Michael looked at the messy floor, then at me, frowning slightly, but his expression quickly softened. It's so late. Wife, why aren't you asleep yet? I can't sleep. I feigned composure, put the tablet back in the cabinet, praying in my heart that he wouldn't discover anything. Michael picked up a piece of clothing from the floor and casually placed it on the sofa. My heart was in my throat. If he realized anything now, all my efforts would be for nothing. Just as my mind raced to come up with an excuse, Michael suddenly stepped forward and hugged me. Then, his gentle voice whispered in my ear, "Wife, you've had it tough these past few days." My mind went blank. What did he mean? After washed up, he lay beside me. He even showed concern, saying he felt bad that I was doing all the housework alone and planned to hire a housekeeper for me tomorrow. I watched his back as he lay down. My stomach churned with disgust. Had he finally had enough fun outside and had a change of heart? Once he fell asleep, I used his fingerprint to unlock his phone. Seeing his chat history with Chloe, I understood everything. When are you going to divorce her? Are you going to keep me as your mistress forever? The two of them had planned to go to the multiplex cinema today, but before they left, Chloe threatened Michael. If you don't take action soon, I won't mind fighting for myself. Michael, I didn't know you were married before I got involved with you. Now you expect me to be your mistress, and I can't accept that. Michael transferred $2,000, comforting Chloe. Honey, don't be upset. Don't be upset. You don't love me at all. Fine, let's break up. Michael then transferred several $1,000s more. He even made several voice calls, and after Chloe repeatedly hung up on him, he sent 10 60-second voice messages. Just to appease Chloe, I took a deep breath and put Michael's phone back in its place. I had completely given up on him. I crept out of bed, closed the bedroom door, and retrieved the tablet from the cabinet. Earlier, it had just been a false alarm. Michael thought he was meticulous. His moment of stupefaction upon entering was merely because he hadn't expected the house to be so messy. He hadn't noticed my unusual behavior at all. I operated the tablet, syncing his phone's photo album to it. Michael once told me he didn't like taking pictures. In the few years we had been married, our joint photos could be counted on one hand. Now, looking at the plethora of photos of him and Chloe on the tablet, I didn't know whether to feel relieved or heartbroken. I was relieved because these were direct evidence to make Michael leave with nothing. I was heartbroken because several years of my youth had just been thrown away on a scoundrel. Divorce was no small matter. Michael left early the next morning, claiming he was busy with work. I knew he was going to see Chloe. The housekeeper was coming to clean the house, so I happened to have time to go back to my parents' place today. As soon as Mom saw me, she took my hand and examined me closely. As she looked, her eyes welled up with tears. "Grace, you've lost weight." Dad also looked at me with eyes filled with concern. I had come today to discuss the divorce with my parents. They were too emotional right now, so it wasn't a good time for me to speak. I whined playfully to Mom, saying I wanted to eat her jumbo shrimp scampi. Dad immediately got up. "I'll go to the market and buy it for you right now." An hour later, a feast was laid out before me. During that time, I just lay on the sofa watching TV and eating fruit. Mom didn't let me do anything else. Looking at the jumbo shrimp scampi on the dinner table, my eyes grew warm. I suddenly realized that I, too, used to be a little princess, pampered by my parents, not even knowing how to cook. After marrying Michael, I suddenly became a housewife. Not only did I have to take on all the housework, but I also had to cook a multi-course meal every day. A few months ago, when Mom learned I was pregnant, she mentioned, "You're pregnant now. If your husband's family doesn't take care of you, my side of the family will. I'll take good care of you and make sure our honey is born healthy." My mother-in-law, however, took this as a provocation from my mom. She even called me overly delicate. Who hasn't been through this? When I gave birth to Michael, I was still working in the fields and only realized my water broke when it happened. "If you don't take care of my girl, can't I?" Seeing and my mother-in-law about to argue, I quickly intervened. "It's okay, Mom. Michael and I are fine living on our own." To maintain peace between the two families, I had no choice but to do housework and cook while pregnant, taking care of myself. I once thought all my sacrifices were worth it, so I could endure any hardship. But now, Mom and Dad, there's something I need to tell you. I put down my chopsticks, with a serious and resolute expression. My parents were startled by my serious demeanor and also put down their chopsticks. I calmly explained everything and finally stated my decision. I want a divorce. "My girl." Mom shed a tear. I couldn't help it, and my eyes reddened too. Dad was calmer than my mother and I. He slammed his hand on the table and nodded in agreement. "Divorce? Your mother and I will help you raise the child. This is our grandchild. We'll raise you and my grandchild to be healthy and strong." Dad even wanted to call Michael right then, but I stopped him. "Now's not the time. He betrayed me. I'm going to make him pay the price." Mom stroked my face. "Just like when I was a child. R has grown up. Whatever you want to do, your mom and dad will always stand by you." I nodded, a warmth spreading through my heart. My parents would always be my strongest support. My parents were worried about my health and wanted me to stay at home for a few more days, but I refused. I had more important things to do now. Only by quickly collecting all the evidence could I quickly divorce Michael. I bought a plane ticket to Phoenix, but Michael didn't know because I was going to see Ethan. "Grace, it's been so many years, and you're still as beautiful as ever." Ethan greeted me warmly. During college, Ethan and I had participated in competitions together, working together seamlessly. We were an old partner. After I got married, out of respect for boundaries, Ethan and I subtly kept our distance. Learning I was coming to Phoenix, Ethan was overjoyed. "Grace, these are the surveillance videos from the company entrance. Michael and Chloe have been coming and going together these past few days." I looked at the clear videos and nodded. "Thank you, Ethan." Ethan waved his hand. "It's nothing. I'm happy to help you, but I'm more worried about your health." "You." As he spoke, Ethan looked at my swollen belly. I lowered my head, a faint smile unconsciously playing on my lips, and reached out to touch my stomach. "Don't worry, Ethan. I'm fine. Have you forgotten how strong I am?" Seeing again, I felt like I was back in my carefree student days, even joking with him without realizing it. Seeing that I was in good spirits, Ethan also relaxed. I asked to see what Chloe looked like. Ethan looked a bit troubled. "Grace, it's not that I don't want to help you. It's just that I'm more worried about your health." At my insistence and repeated assurances, Ethan finally gave in. Today was the company's small celebration dinner, and they had arranged to go to a bustling late-night eatery in the early hours of the morning. I staked out a corner early. Soon, Ethan, Michael, and a few others arrived. I noticed the brightly floral-dressed woman beside Michael. She smiled sweetly, her makeup impeccable. Ethan told me Chloe was 30 years old and had dated many boyfriends but had never married. I don't know what methods Michael used to make the plant manager's daughter develop such a strong interest in him, even to be his mistress, Ethan had commented at the time. Now, looking at Chloe, I couldn't help but feel a little insecure. I didn't have a distinguished family background, nor was I as pretty as Chloe, although told me she was 30. From a distance, she looked so youthful and vibrant, like a 21-year-old college student. Watching them joking and interacting so openly, I still couldn't hold back. My eyes filled with tears, but I masochistically stood in the corner, watching their interactions, their intimate moments, for a full hour. I didn't even realize my feet had gone numb. "Grace, slow down." Ethan was more thoughtful than I expected. Halfway through drinking, He made an excuse to go to the restroom and left the dinner party, coming over to check on me. Grace, you have a little life inside you. You should rest, even if you can handle it. Your baby can't. I nodded, quickly composing myself. Ethan was right. Now that I had seen everything, I had completely given up hope. I took a cab back to the hotel, but lying in bed, the images of Michael and Chloe interacting haunted my mind. The more I thought about it, the more annoyed I became. I simply got up and made a video call to Michael. The phone rang for a full minute, but Michael didn't answer. I called again. After a few seconds, Michael answered the video call. I glanced at his background. He was in a bathroom. Judging by the decor, he was at least in a 5-star presidential suite. I suppressed my disgust and forced a smile, asking him, "Husband, what are you busy with right now?" Michael's gaze darted away, and he kept glancing at the bathroom door. He must have been worried about something, but at the same time, he had to feign patience and respond to my question. "Honey, I'm on a business trip. Since I took over the company project, I've been getting busier and busier." "Michael, you," a sudden female voice. Before I could make out what she said, Michael's end went silent. I kept a straight face, but smirked inwardly. It must be Chloe, right? I intentionally played dumb and asked him innocently, "Husband, what's going on over there? I thought I heard a strange woman calling your name." Michael's expression didn't look good. His movements were jerky, clearly pretending the connection was bad. Then he hung up our video call. 3 seconds later, his message came through, "Honey, the signal is bad here." The video call disconnected automatically. Bad internet signal in a 5-star hotel? Was he really taking me for a fool? "It's nothing. It was just room service." Would room service be so brazen? He really was taking advantage of my understanding nature, just making up excuses. But thankfully, he wouldn't have another chance to lie to me again. After hanging up with Michael, Ethan sent me their location. "Michael and Chloe are at this hotel right now. I filmed a video of them entering together. I hope it can help you." "Thank you, Ethan." Having collected the final piece of evidence, I booked a flight home without any hesitation. Just as my relationship with Michael was beyond salvage, I handed all the evidence to the lawyer. She slowly reviewed it and smiled with satisfaction. "Ms. Grace, with this evidence, we can officially sue Mr. Michael. The possibility of him leaving with nothing is 99%. My best friend and I both smiled with satisfaction. All my efforts these past days had not been in vain. "Do you choose to sue him now?" Without hesitation, I nodded. Yes. This court summons would be a grand present from me to Michael. Just like the Durex I found in his pocket, it would be a surprise. This move was called a taste of his own medicine. That very evening, I received a call from an unfamiliar woman. "Are you Grace?" "You are." I felt like the voice was familiar, as if I'd heard it somewhere before, but I couldn't place it. The woman's tone was unpleasant, even arrogant. She quickly introduced herself. "You don't know me? Didn't you even add me as a WhatsApp contact? How can you not know who I am? You're Chloe." "That's right. I'm the one Michael truly loves. I advise you to be smart about it and divorce Michael immediately. He stopped loving you a long time ago. Do you know what he's been doing lately? He's been with me at a 5-star hotel for 3 whole days. 3 whole days. Chloe confronting me so brazenly was something I hadn't anticipated. In the past, I would have gotten emotional and flown into a rage. But now, I was calm and composed. I even casually turned on my voice recording function, although I had almost all the evidence I needed. Chloe's provocation now also counted as direct evidence. I remained silent for a long time. Chloe thought I was provoked and adopted a victorious air. She continued her incessant taunting. I suddenly felt something wet between my legs. Looking down, I realized my water broke. "Wait a moment." I calmly stopped Chloe. "You can save what you want to say and tell me to my face later. For now, please tell Michael that my water broke. The baby is coming soon, and he needs to come back immediately." Chloe, however, interpreted my words as a provocation. She thought I was flaunting that Michael and I were having a child. Her voice became even more shriller. Helpless, I hung up the phone. After calling 911, I then called my parents. 3 hours later, my daughter was born safely, lying in the hospital bed. I recalled everything that had just happened, feeling as if I had a near-death experience. I finally understood the saying, a woman should only bear a child for a man when she loves him enough, because childbirth is truly excruciating. The entire pregnancy was also incredibly painful. Gazing at the quiet little life beside me, I smiled with relief, but it didn't matter. My daughter was solely my daughter and would have no relation to Michael. In the quiet delivery room, Mom peeled an apple for me as we discussed my upcoming plans. Mom stroked my face. My girl, no matter what you do, I support you. Just then, my mother-in-law suddenly burst into the room with a swarm of relatives. Her voice was shrill, and my relatives kept craning their necks into the room. Where's the baby? Let me see the baby. Oh my, it's a girl. It's okay. Grace, try harder, and strive to have a healthy baby boy for Michael next year. My mother-in-law's voice was too loud and woke up Lily, who was sleeping. When the baby cried, my temper flared. I had tolerated this terrible mother-in-law for too long. This time, I refused to back down. Nurse, please ask these people to leave. They're disturbing the hospital's peace. The nurse, who had already frowned upon seeing my mother-in-law, immediately ordered them to leave when she heard me speak. My mother-in-law's voice became even shriller. Grace, what do you mean by that? I gave a cold laugh. Nothing. It just means I'm divorcing your son. From now on, he and I will go our separate ways, and the child will naturally have nothing to do with any of you. What? My mother-in-law was stunned by my words but still stubbornly refused to leave. I issued a stern warning. If you have any decency, get out now. Go home and ask your son what disgraceful things he's done. My mother-in-law immediately looked guilty. I curled my lip. Clearly, she also knew what kind of person her son was. Michael rushed back without delay. No sooner had he arrived at the airport than he was at my hospital room. I guessed he and my mother-in-law had already confronted each other. A bright red handprint adorned his face. He rushed towards me as soon as he entered, grabbed my hand tightly, and began to apologize. Grace, I was wrong. It's not what you think. I can explain. Explain? Michael, I once loved you, which is why I tolerated you, but I'm not a fool. You've been taking advantage of my love and acting shamelessly for far too long. My gaze was unwavering. Michael knew he couldn't deceive me, so he began slandering Chloe. That woman seduced me. I promise you, I'll cut ties with her immediately. Grace, we were college sweethearts, and now we have a child. How can you divorce me? Grace, tell me, has someone been talking to you? You've always been so docile. How could you possibly? Before he could finish, Chloe, carrying a designer handbag, burst into my hospital room. But I understood Michael's underlying meaning. He wanted to know how I, such a foolish person, had discovered his cheating, despite him being careful and discreet. There's an old saying, what's done in the dark will eventually come to light. He put on a sincere demeanor, but even now, he showed no remorse. Michael, dare you repeat what you just said? Chloe appeared like a shrew, her shrill voice giving me a headache. Michael immediately cowered, his eyes darting away, like a dog caught misbehaving. I seduced you? Take a good look at yourself. What part of you is even worth seducing? Dare you say that again? Michael scurried over to her. I was wrong. I was wrong. I hadn't even had a chance to comment on the scene before me when my mother-in-law burst into the room. Smack! My mother-in-law's palm landed heavily on Michael's face. You scoundrel! Didn't I tell you to apologize to Grace? How dare you bring that seductress home? Then, my mother-in-law turned to me with a smiling face. Grace, don't worry. Grandma has your back. Did she think I would be moved? I clearly knew the reason my mother-in-law was trying to appease me. She just thought I was easy to manipulate. And if Michael divorced me, he wouldn't find another housekeeper as good as me, right? Michael pulled his mother aside and whispered something to her. My mother-in-law's attitude immediately did a complete 180. This girl, she's certainly pretty and has a good demeanor. You just called her a seductress. I couldn't help but interject, an amused observer of this drama. The three of them were completely engrossed in their drama, unable to extricate themselves, and no one even noticed me. I cleared my throat twice, drawing their attention. All right, in that case, Michael, please sign the divorce papers. Grace, Michael instinctively retorted. Seeing this, Chloe pinched him hard, and Michael grimaced in pain. My mother-in-law looked at me, then at Chloe, and her attitude towards me indeed changed. Grace, let's be clear. It's not that our family treated you badly. You were the one who initiated the divorce. Michael cheated during my pregnancy, and you say your family didn't treat me badly? My mother-in-law rolled her eyes and said nothing more, but when I suggested Michael leave with nothing, The mother and son refused. Have you ever worked since you got married? And you want Michael to give you all his assets? Grace, I advise you to have some self-awareness. I slowly replied. You won't sign? Fine. Then wait to receive a court summons. I've collected all the evidence anyway. If your family isn't ashamed, we can certainly go to court. As I spoke, I looked at Chloe beside me and said with sarcasm, after all, it's not me who's desperate to marry his mistress. Grace, you frumpy wife. Dare you say that again? Chloe lost her composure, snatched the divorce papers I had prepared, and slammed them onto Michael's face. Sign. Sign it now. Who cares about that measly sum? I'll pay you off myself. Hearing this, Michael's eyes lit up, and so did his mother's. Without any hesitation, they both signed the agreement. 7 days later, Michael received a court summons. Since he dared to betray me, I will ruin his reputation. Grace, what do you mean? Haven't I already signed the divorce agreement? Leaving me with nothing? I shrugged innocently. So what? Not only would I sue him, but I would also expose his actions online. Now, the neighborhood knew what kind of person Michael was. What if Chloe was the plant manager's daughter? It still wouldn't change the fact that she was the other woman. After she moved in with Michael, people would talk about her behind her back wherever she went. Chloe already had a bad temper, so she couldn't stand such humiliation and always took it out on Michael. Before the baby's first month, Michael had messaged me, saying he missed my gracious and thoughtful nature, and the days we spent together. Get lost. After typing that word, I blocked him immediately. Men who only appreciate you after they've lost you are the absolute worst. However, Chloe still found out that he had secretly contacted me. I heard she even gave Michael a beating over it. The scratch marks near Michael's eyes, from her nails, remained on his face for a full 2 weeks. Ethan contacted me, saying he wanted to give me a surprise for Lily's welcome party. I asked Ethan curiously, but he wouldn't say more. Just answered mysteriously, "You'll find out when the time comes." Before's welcome party, the factory where Michael worked was investigated and shut down, and he was implicated and laid off. I heard it was because the plant manager was reported anonymously for embezzlement and bribery. The plant manager's embezzlement amount was huge, and he was guaranteed to be sentenced to life imprisonment. Chloe's standing was drastically reduced, and Michael also lost his job. Ethan became the new plant manager. Now, Michael was not only penniless but also jobless. Moreover, Chloe, who had once lived a comfortable life, frequently asked Michael for money to buy luxury goods. Michael couldn't get any money from Chloe, and his attitude towards her also soured. The last time they argued, it escalated to physical violence, and Michael actually beat Chloe so badly that she ended up in the hospital. This once again became the talk of the neighborhood after dinner. At welcome party, Ethan brought a delicate gold locket. I smiled and asked him, "I'm guessing the real gift isn't this, is it?" After the party, only Ethan and I remained. He said he had collected the evidence long ago, but he had hesitated to report it because he was afraid it would implicate Michael. Michael was your husband, and I was afraid my actions would affect you. I smiled. After all these years, Ethan still looks out for me as always. There should be zero tolerance for corruption and bribery. I was truly touched that Ethan had hesitated because of me, and I was also very glad that those people had finally been brought down. I placed the delicate gold locket Ethan had given me around Lily's neck. Lily seemed to love it, giggling and cooing. "Grace, have you considered starting a new relationship after your divorce?" Ethan's gaze was so intense that even I, slow-witted as I could be, understood what he meant. "It's okay. Take your time." Seeing my hesitation, Ethan actively stepped back to a comfortable distance. "You don't mind?" I hadn't even finished my sentence when Ethan interrupted me. "I don't mind. I've always liked you. Someone else just got there first." I gazed into his eyes, feeling as though I was transported back to the days a few years ago when we competed in games and wrote papers together. After all these twists and turns, it felt like I had finally found the right him. Perhaps my new life was about to begin. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.